Hello, my name is Hans George Campbell. Today I want to show you guys a map that I have been working on for the past month. The name of this map is Luxor HEXA Edition. Okay, here we are on the ModDB website where I uploaded the file Luxor HEXA Edition. I do not upload any of my Doom maps to Doom World because Doom World sucks and the people that run that site are assholes. And so I do not. You will not find any of my maps for GZ Doom on Doom World. I usually upload them here to ModDB, or you can contact me directly. My email is on my YouTube channel. You can contact me directly, and I will attach any map that you want to my email response. Anyway, let me read the description. This is my remake of Epic 2 Map 26. The original map Luxor had a lot of bugs and errors. The map was absolutely ugly and had poor monsters and items placement. Also, the map did not flow properly. I watched Hexa play Luxor on his YouTube channel. I was very impressed with his skill. He mentioned in the video that Epic 2 Map 26 is his favorite map. So I decided to remake the map and create a HEXA edition in honor of the legendary Doom player. I removed all of the bugs and errors. I also optimized the map for better performance and frame count. I redid the texturing and added details to make Luxor beautiful. I redid the monsters and items placement, and I made the map flow better. Except for actually drawing the map, I basically recreated Luxor from scratch. A lot of planning and thought went into Luxor's creation. I hope Hexa and the rest of the Doom community enjoy my efforts. I want to thank Alexander Eternal S for drawing the original map. And of course I included a screenshot, or I should say a scream shot. Yeah, there it is. It's a beautiful map. It's a beautiful map. I think you guys are going to love this map. What I found out through the years is that people that, you guys that are good at drawing maps, you're not very good at monster and items placement. And you're not good at selecting proper textures. And it's very apparent to me that you never really play test your maps, because when I loaded up the original of this map, which is map 26 of the Epic 2 Megawad, and I loaded up into the GZ Doom Builder, GZ Doom Builder, it literally had a few hundred errors in the map, including open sectors. And I had to fix each and every one of those errors, and I had to delete open sectors or remake the sectors. It was a lot of work. And then the map was so damn ugly that I literally had to start from scratch. No textures at all. and just redo the textures. And also, while I was watching Hexa play, he had a hard time dealing with the super cyber demons that popped up, because, you know, the original author of this map, he has all these monsters going up against the player, and the player has no place to take cover. So it's basically a wide open field, and the player's getting hit from everywhere. So I decided that in the new version that I would get rid of those two little small structures that were useless. I got rid of them. I totally deleted those. And I drew 4 little medieval style buildings here in the front yard, okay, to give the player something to take cover, to hide behind, so that they're not stuck out in the open area and they're just getting slaughtered. And I think you guys are really going to appreciate what I did to this map. Also, the original sky texture was ugly, so I added this absolutely gorgeous sky texture. And like I said, I redid the texturing, especially on the inside of the fortress. It was absolutely ugly. I mean, the guy, he didn't know anything about color coordination or, you know, texture placement. I mean, he just started plastering textures everywhere, and it did not look good. In fact, it looked horrible. It really did. And so I knew that if I spent time on this map, I could remake this map into something, into a thing of beauty. And that's what I did. So now I'm going to load up the map in HEXA Edition Builder, and I'll walk you through the map with no monsters in the map. I'll just show you the map. And then I'll play this beginning part of the map. I think you'll really enjoy that. Okay, here I am in HEXA Edition Builder version 2.3. That's the one I use all the time. There's newer versions, but I'm a firm believer in, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's nothing wrong with the HEXA Edition Builder version 2.3. I've been using it for years, and I've never had any problems out of it. All my maps work great. So if it ain't fixed, don't break it. I mean, don't fix it. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why should I update or download the newer version when there's nothing wrong with the version I'm using now? You know, just because something is new does not necessarily mean that it is better. Au contraire, the opposite is actually true in most cases. The older something is, the better it is. Oh yeah. So let's load up the map. Let me put this back on list. Where is it at? Went right past it. Where the hell is it at? Oh, there it is, right there. Luxor HEXA Edition Wide. Okay, here's the entire map. And I'm going to load it up in ultraviolence mode with no monsters so I can show you the map. Okay.
We got all the good shit.
Yes, I put Hexa says some really funny things, so I decided to add some of what he said to the map, and you'll see that as we're going through the map. You'll hear his sounds, the Hexa sounds. I think it's cool. I think Hexa will get a kick out of it. But just look at this. Just look at the sky. I mean, plus I put trees on the other side of the wall to create the illusion of depth, which it effectively does. And there was no gate here. So how do people get into this courtyard to get to this fortress, right? So I decided to put a gate there with these braziers. It looks really cool. And the trees behind the wall. And then I put these like old style, medieval style buildings here to give the player something to hide behind, to take cover, so they're not out in a wide open field, Yeah. And when you first start, I give the player all the weapons, and you're filled up with ammo. I give the player 800 health and 800 armor to get you going, so that you have a fighting chance, because this front area, battle area, is very difficult. I'll be the first to admit that. This is a very difficult, probably the most difficult part of the map. And then on each side of where the monsters come up out of the ground, right where the trip line is, I put a sphere of partial invisibility. That marks where that trip line is, because there's already monsters up above. So what you do is you very carefully, you grab one of these without tripping that line. And this way, you're only fighting half the monsters out here, like the first wave. And then, after you finish killing the first wave, then you purposely cross that trip line. See how it went up real fast? And then the rest of the monsters, the second wave, come up past the trip line. Come up out of the ground. Okay? Now, the original map did not have all these fire sticks and braziers. It looked really boring, really ugly and blasé. It just didn't look good. It didn't look good. Okay. So, and right here in the courtyard, I decided to put grass and some statues with flowers around the statues, some cherry trees, the type of bushes you'd see next to a wall. Just add some detail out or make the map look more beautiful. I like it. I think it turned out really good. A stone walkway here. And the other guy, he went overboard with switches. He had a switch way over here that lowered this platform. And I thought that was stupid. It was really stupid. He had a switch for just about every door and platform. He went switch crazy. Now, I got rid of most of those switches and did the map the way it's supposed to be done. Okay, there you go. And instead of lifts, I put teleporters, and I used dynamic lighting to make the teleporters glow. It just makes for a better, smoother running map. And then that right there is a life sphere. It gives you 800 life, or 800 health. And that lowers when you get past a certain point. You can see how it lowers, right? There you go, people. That's the first secret right there. First secret.
Fucking murdering this shit right now.
Fucking murdering this shit right now. You tell him, Hexa. Tell him. You talking good shit, dude. Alright. See how this looks a lot better? Then you go in here. See? The original map, this was all different textures. It was ugly as hell. It really was. It was ugly. I know something about building architecture. People that build buildings like this, they would not keep changing the textures all the time, or the walls and stuff. They wouldn't do that. They would basically use the same textures for as long as, or not texture, but the same bricks, same wood, whatever, for as long as they can. There's that. There's the second secret. That's where you'll find the armor bonus. Okay. See, even in here, this looks a whole lot better than the original map. A whole lot better. See? And I put Nefertiti's bust right there. I think that looks really Egyptian. It looks really cool. And the braziers, some of them are bronze, some of them are gold, some of them are green like that one. See? And I made this rounded instead of like square looking. I made this more rounded. So it looks better. It just looks better. You know. Come down here. Remember how this looked? It was ugly as hell. It looked really bad. I like that picture, so I put that there. It looks really nice. And, yeah. See how everything fits well together. The texture, everything looks good. And on the original map, the guy was too lazy to line up the brick textures. So they looked weird. They didn't look right. See? And now these, they actually look like steps. See? They look good. Let me grab all this. Whether you need the armor bonuses or health bonuses or not, you want to pick them up if you want to get 100% on everything. So yeah, you come up here and see, this looks a lot better. Looks a whole lot better. Whole lot better. Have the door raised extremely fast because there's going to be a remnant behind there, right? See how this looks? Looks a whole lot better than the original map. A whole lot better. See? Now, I added some really cool music in this map, but I muted the music because, you know, YouTube's stupid copyright. I mean, they've gone copyright infringement crazy. So you guys know what I'm talking about. So the music is muted, but I recommend that when you play this map, pump up the volume because you're going to love the music. And the boss music is really cool too. The music I chose for when you do the final boss battle. But see how this all looks good? It fits well together. See? See how this all looks? Looks a whole lot better now. Look at that. Looks a whole lot better. A whole lot better. On the original map, this was ugly. It looked frickin' ugly. But look at this. Look how beautiful this looks. Absolutely gorgeous. In the original map, there was no trees, no flowers, no nothing. It was boring as hell. Look at this, how beautiful it looks. Absolutely gorgeous. Also, I corrected the flow in the map. The original map had terrible flow. So to make sure that the player goes through the other door first, I made it to where you require 3 keys. See, you need all 3 keys to get through that door. So far, I only have 2 keys, right? The red key that you need is here. You see how I made effective use of dynamic lighting to light that up, right? And I'll light up the 2 flower beds right there. Make it look really cool. See? Everything just looks better. It just looks better. See? Effective use of dynamic lighting shining on the floor, right? You got the braziers in here. Okay. Throw that. See how those? I made this a lot better. It didn't look right before. And yeah, make sure you collect all these. You want to get 100% on your items. HEXA doesn't do that, and he should. See? And the medikits, they're there according to your skill level. Skill levels are heavily implemented in this map. Like in skill level 1, you have 1 medikit. Skill level 2, you have 2. Skill level 3, you have 3. And in the HEXA skill level 4, you have all 4 medikits, and you're going to need them too. But see how a more effective use of dynamic lighting where it's shining down on top of that? Yeah, just subtle things like this can make and break your map. Okay? Alright, so we got that key. Okay. And then we'll come back through here. Now we're able to go through this final area. See? See, this looks a lot better too. Looks a whole lot better. A lot better. See? Looks a lot better. There's the first skull key, the blue skull key. That's the first skull key. You need all 6 keys to get to the final room to release Thamos. Now, this is a clever secret. Most people would think that that switch will lower that, but no, you're wrong. You're going to hit that switch there, and that's how you do that. And you hit that switch to raise that. And instead of having a stupid lift rider, that was stupid as hell. It really was. I decided to have these steps on both sides, to where you can very easily go up and down. See? Have the steps on both sides. Now, in his final area here, in skill levels 1 and 2, actually 1, 2, and 3, there's a normal arch vial up there. Okay? And all of the fire sticks are red. The red fire sticks, right? But in skill levels 4 and 5, you know, the Hexa skill level, right? Instead of an arch vial, there's a divine shadow, the green arch vial. And he turns all fire green. So in the Hexa skill level, all of the fire sticks are green in this area. That's how you can tell what skill level you're in. Plus, the divine shadow will be frying you a new asshole. But see how this looks a lot better? I mean, this guy had all kinds of textures thrown everywhere. It looked like crap. It really did. And he had that ugly lava texture down there. I said, no, I'll put the green nuke down there. It just looks better. It looks better. Goes better with the green fire sticks, you know. It just looks better. Everything looks better. So you go over here. You can see that. Yeah, and you go over here to the switch. Throw that switch, and that raises that, the platform. Or the floor, I should say. Then you can go over here and get the second key. Okay, there's the second key. Go over here. And even the teleporter looks better against this green. It blended in too much with the lava. Yeah, and I wanted it to look good. So, yeah, I think this whole area looks a lot better. I made effective use of dynamic lighting right there in that center part there. And then here, this is an ammo depot. I mean, an ammo depot. Excuse me, ammo depot. And listen.
Don't worry about now. There's ammo for weeks.
There is ammo for weeks. There's the sixth key. Now we have all 6 keys, so we can release Thalmos. See? More effective use of dynamic lighting to make that teleporter glow, right? Okay. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee and take my morning multivitamin. I haven't had my coffee yet. So bear with me. In the original map, there was no trees out or anything. It looked really boring and blasé. I don't even think there was fire sticks out or anything. I mean, just look at it now. Look at it. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Fire sticks up there. Some trees in this courtyard here. Fire sticks there. Fire stick up there. You know. Because there's got to be light to be casting these shadows. See these shadows there? So I put the light source there on the other side of those pillars, right? So it makes it look good. And then you got dirt right there. Trees got to be in dirt, right? So yeah, so when before you take that teleporter, there's a trip line that the player walks across that raises these bars up. So that you can no longer get through. You're trapped in here with Thalmos. You cannot open this gate either. Once it closes, you cannot open that. So you're trapped in here with Thalmos. This is the final boss. I mean, the final battle, you know. And the music that plays in here, oh my God, this music is really cool. There it is. And you get your, build up your health. You get 800 health, 800 armor. Throw the switch, and that allows Thalmos to teleport right across there. He'll teleport right on the opposite end there. And that starts the battle. And once you kill Thalmos, well, he ends the map. Anyway, okay, so I showed you the map. Now, I'm going to show you, I'm going to do a complete playthrough of the starting area of the map. That main battle in front of the fortress. So, that's coming up next. Hello, my name is Hans George Campbell. Are you sick and tired of all the dumbasses in the checkout lines using debit and credit? Well, you can become one of the smart ones by switching to cash today. Yes, cash. It's still the best form of payment. It's easy, quick, and so convenient too. Cash. What's in your wallet?
We got all the good shits. Murdering this shit right now. Murdering this shit right now. Fucking murdering this shit right now.